Hello there and welcome to my review of The Art of Destiny. We're still on lockdown in the UK at the moment of doing this review, so I thought I'd cheer myself up and have a look through one of my favourite art books. Now, this is Destiny 1. There is an art book for Destiny 2. I do have it and I'll probably do a review of that at some point. But this is the first book. I spent a lot of time looking at this. Not as much time as I spent playing the game. I spent like hundreds of hours playing the game, a ridiculous amount of time. But it is an amazing game. It's perfect for me. It's a first-person shooter. I love sci-fi and fantasy. It combines those elements fantastically, as you can see from their artwork. Now, Bungie, who made the game, they really did go all out and hire some fantastic concept artists to work on the game. Some of the best people in the industry, like Jamie Jones, who did this image here. This is a key piece of art. Now, Bungie said that once they got this bit of art, they really knew what they were doing. They really felt that they had something, like a great concept. And most of the text in the book is about the overall concept behind the game, what they were trying to achieve, rather than getting into the nitty-gritty of making a game. But, you know, that's fine. It's more about the pictures anyway, right? And there's fantastic early artwork here. Fantastic form and design work. Here's the Traveller. Early designs, very interesting to see. Here's the final design, and it looks really cool. Beautiful, beautiful picture. And there's the tower. If you've played Destiny 1, you'll be very familiar with the tower. It kind of gets destroyed in two, but, oh, spoiler, sorry. But, I think most people will know that by now, but here we have the last city of humanity underneath the shadow and protection of the Traveller. Now, the Traveller is like this big orb, and it sort of represents good. It's light in the universe as opposed to the darkness that's encroaching on humanity. And there's a nice scene from the tower. Here's the scene from Old Russia, or a scene from Old Russia, with a spaceship in the background. Now, these spaceships were used by humanity during the Golden Age, when humanity was really prospering to colonise other planets, before the Dark Age. And now that last image with the red cars, that's a classic image from the start of the game. That will definitely bring back some memories if you play Destiny 1. Again, another classic image from the first interior in the game, which is you're inside the wall around the city. Now, the first location you go to when you leave Earth, and it's a fantastic feeling when you finally do leave Earth, is the moon. And there's a classic structure from the moon, and the Hellmouth again on the moon. And this is like hive architecture that's been buried into the moon. There's a great sort of substructures under the moon you can explore, and that's all in Destiny 2 now. So if you haven't played Destiny 1, you can experience that in Destiny 2. A classic location underneath the moon again. This is like a trip down memory lane. I spent so many hours playing this game, made some fantastic friends online. In fact, most of my friends online are from playing this game. And just looking at these pictures, this is a classic, there's a Vex Gate there, classic little area in Destiny 1. Now this robot doing this construction is not in Destiny 1, but it's interesting to see. Right, Patch? Sorry about that noise earlier. That was Patch attacking a plastic bag. Well, it was asking for it, wasn't it, Patch? Yeah. Okay, you take it easy, boy. So it's a hot day. You just take it easy. That's it. Good boy. And here's a scene from Destiny 1. They kind of toned it down, but it's just incredibly detailed. Obviously, too detailed for the game. There's the reef there that was added into Destiny. So not all the stuff in the book was added when the game was first released. Some of it was added later. It's a classic scene from Mars. I spent a lot of time running around there doing bounties. It's a kind of public space. And that was the thing about Destiny. I'd never really experienced that before, sort of a multiplayer game where you had other people running around in the same space as you, doing their bounties. It was just such a cool experience. And here we have some Vex architecture. And that's the thing I love about the different alien races. They're so well thought out. Some great graphic design work. But each alien race has its own design sensibilities, their own personality, their own sort of history. And it's just everything's just so well thought out. And you can be a human, You can be a robot, you know, you can choose what character you want to be, what race you want to be. There's different classes, you can be a Titan or a Warlock or a Hunter. There's some capes for the Hunters there. Animations for the Supers. There's the Titan. It's sort of like a tank character. Sort of heavy armour. You've got the Warlocks that are more into sort of the magic and special abilities. And the Hunters are more agile. There's some pictures of the Warlocks. And that was a big thing for Bungie, to try and make each different class distinct. And they did achieve that, I think. Definitely visually as well as the actual abilities in the game. And here's the Queen. She's such a fantastic character. She's so cool. I'd love to see more of her in Destiny 2. And there's her brother. He's a bit of a troublemaker. You'll be familiar with him as well from Destiny 2. Bit of a troubled soul. But there are great personalities in the game. This is the Stranger. She has a famous line in Destiny 1 where she says she doesn't have time to explain, or she doesn't have time to explain. But yeah, I mean, the design work here is fantastic. And this is one of my favourite bits of concept art in the book. It's by Jamie Jones again. But if you look at the form, you look at the technique, the rendering and the illustration techniques involved, the form and the lighting and the imagination. So cool, so beautifully done. Some more concept work for the Exos, the robots. It's an absolute delight just to look through this book. So I'll never get bored of looking through this book. So many memories of doing all the different strikes and raids, and here we have another Jamie Jones piece of artwork. This is a fantastic piece of concept art. I love this sort of the wind, the dynamism of it. Literally feel the snow and that blowing around, the texture work, the design work, the light and shadow. It's just beautifully done. And of course it's quite different to how the spider tanks actually ended up in the finished game. But then of course they do have to make compromises. And here is the Hive. There's the Hive Wizard. Small Hive designs. Some ogres. Yeah, you take it easy. Like the spider tank hasn't got as many sort of joints in its legs as it would have had in the concept work. You know, they have to make compromises. There's some more Hive. You've awoken the Hive. So when it comes to game logic, they had to be careful. They didn't sort of overload the CPUs. So they've got this fantastic concept art to work to. You know, they got to make changes, unfortunately. I mean, look at that. They see a Cabal without any armour on there. Not a pretty sight, but still interesting to see. Some really dynamic bits of artwork. And of course, no first-person shooter would be complete without some great weapons. And Destiny's got some great, distinct weapons. When it comes to weapon design, I don't think Destiny's really been beaten. I mean, look at these weapons. And of course, you've got the Galahorn there. Yeah, looks beautiful looking weapon. Everyone remembers when they got their Galahorn. It's a great moment in the game. If you've played Destiny, you probably used these weapons and enjoyed them all. The Icebreaker, the Last Word, the Hawk Moon, the Thorn, a beautiful looking weapon, Invective. They're all distinct to use, and that's really what Bungie wanted to do. They wanted to, of course, the Last Word there, I've used that a lot in PvP. But Destiny wanted the guns to really feel different, and they're exotic guns, so they really wanted them to have unique perks, and they've done a fantastic job. More designs. Now, some of these designs didn't make it into the original release of the game, but they kind of crept into the game in the DLCs. But most of this stuff has actually been used in the games, which is quite interesting. And of course, there's some things that aren't in the game. There's some designs that they never actually used, but I think the vast majority of it they did. Some spaceships. You don't actually get to fly them around, but oh, here's a ship from the tower. You will remember that if you've spent any time in the tower. And there was the speeders. Well, they're called sparrows in the game, and here's the spider tank. That's how it finished up. Well, more of how it finished up in the game. But I prefer that. I prefer the original concept. I think it's got a lot more character. But as I said, that when it comes to getting these bits of concept into the actual game, they have to make sort of compromises. Some of these things are just too intricate for the actual game. Hive ships. Here's a tomb ship there. Yeah, if you do the raids and that, you'll be familiar with those. And there's a Cabal dropship again. If you played the game, you'll be very familiar with that. Lots of interesting designs there for tanks and that, Cabal tanks. Be great to actually drive those tanks around. And here's a picture from kind of like the end scene in the game with the stranger. Yeah, the story was a bit of a mess in Destiny, to be honest. But I think they did have some design problems, but along the way. But yeah, great book. And here's the credits. And the actual artists are attributed as well. For each page number, it says what artist did what artwork. So if you like a bit of artwork, you can check out more that artist's done online. So yeah, great book. Definitely thoroughly recommended. If you enjoy playing Destiny, if you like art, then yeah, definitely worth picking up. Really nice book. Okay, so thanks for watching the video. I hope you're staying safe. And yeah, as I say, I do have the Destiny 2 book. I will be looking at that at some point. But until then, take care. And there's my female cat down there. She saw her go past. She's a bit shy, but my tuxedo cat, my boy cat, he loves the camera, don't you? He loves the camera. He likes being in the videos. Yeah, good boy. It's like my shadow just follows me everywhere. He likes having his belly tickled, don't you? Yeah, it's a bit hot though today. But yeah, good boy. Okay. Yeah, thanks for watching. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Well, Patch, do you mind? Get off my book, please. Goodbye for now.